Our selection will be By the River of Babylon.
By the river of Babylon, where we sat down, yeah, we wept when we remembered Zion.
oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another, as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua HaMashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as dear children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather given of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear, than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth, therefore let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you, to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him, and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame, and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's Holy Sabbath Day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in Stone Mountain, Georgia. You know, as we go through even the oracles, Yahweh talks to us about that angel that has been placed there, and that we need to make sure that we don't step past that boundary and follow that angel in the way that he is leading the children of Israel. The difficulty in that is that we cannot see the angel, and our old covenant family ancestors, they were able to see the spirit and still couldn't follow it. And in this day and age, we flip from channel to channel, and we look at the televangelists, and they say things like they spoke to God last night, they did all of these things. So it kind of puts things in our head that when we are being directed by Yahweh, that we are going to see entities, that we're going to see, we're going to receive direct talking. And Yahweh has given us a manual here that when he does show you something, will you even be able to recognize it? See, will you be looking for something else? But what we have to understand is these people in here, they didn't have any manual. They were the manual. He made them live out things that he didn't explain unto them. They probably, on some of these things, lived through things that they never understood. And here it is, we come through, read those things, and it's a high possibility that they never understood it, because the first 2 or 3 times we read it, we didn't understand it. And this was somebody's life that Yahweh was making them live out some prophetic things that were bigger than them, that was concerning the ultimate plight of the children of Israel. And as we prepare to make our appearance before Yahweh, as we prepare to embark upon these holy days that are very, very important unto Yahweh, we have to then consider the power of Yahweh and not limit it by the amount of understanding that we have, because Yahweh is not limited by what we understand. He's not limited by what we know and what we are able to do. Yahweh will do things and then explain it some way time later. So let's get into this. Today's sermon is Father Abraham, the earthly representation of Yah. So when we examine that, we then see that there is a story that Yahweh is placing on the earth to represent the Holy Family of Israel. But he can't just jump to the story of Israel. There has to be something leading up to that. And Abraham is representing him. And if you deal with that, you're going to have to notice certain things. We're going to begin today in Genesis chapter 12, and we're going to read verses 1 through 20. Genesis chapter 12. And we're going to start that at verse 1.
Verse 1. Now Yahweh had said unto Abram, Get you out of your country, and from your kindred, and from your father's house, unto a land that I will show you.
So the first thing that he has to do before he gets to this part of making this covenant is, I need to set you by yourself. And the issue with that is, his father worshiped different gods. His father did different things. And his father, of course, is going to have power over him as far as persuasion goes. So now you have a situation where there's a battle as to who's going to lead the house. Are you going to listen to Yahweh your Elohim, or are you going to listen to your earthly father? So Yahweh already does it, and you're going to see that several times within, this story, that Yahweh waits into the death of a father. Then he separates him from other entities because he knows that love is there, and Yahweh doesn't want to cause a situation where you got to pick one or the other, because it's not going to be good for the other entity. See, Yahweh is actually protecting the other entity in that, because if by some chance you do pick the other entity, something seriously wrong may happen to that other entity. So he's protecting you and the other entity. See, I'm just going to separate y'all for a second, because if you make the wrong decision, I'm going to have to do something to that person, because now they're sitting in my seat and I got to move them. Go ahead.
Verse 2. And I'll make of you a great nation, and I'll bless you, and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. And I'll bless them that bless you, and curse him that curse you, and in you shall all families of the earth be blessed.
And do we consider that? I will bless them that bless you, and I will curse them that curse you. You may not even be around when somebody curse you. That ain't your job to try to figure out. That's his job. Go ahead.
So Abraham departed as Yahweh had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him. And Abraham was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. And Abram took Sarai his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran. And they went forth to go into the land of Canaan, and into the land of Canaan they came. And Abram passed through the land unto the place of Sychem, unto the plain of Moreh, and the Canaanite was then in the land. And Yahweh appeared unto Abram, and said, Unto your seed will I give this land. And there built he an altar unto Yahweh, who appeared unto him.
Right. And Yahweh is doing something in a future situation. And Yahweh appeared unto Abram and said unto him, Unto your seed will I give this land. this is somebody else's land at the present time. And he's telling him this is going to be your land. It is going to belong to your children. Go ahead.
And he removed from thence onto a mountain on the east of Bethel, and pitched his tent, having Bethel on the west, and Ai on the east. And there he built an altar unto Yahweh, and called upon the name of Yahweh. And Abram journeyed, going on still toward the south.
Now he's telling him these things, and the man is 75 at this point. He's telling him, you know, this right here is going to belong to your kids. Now he's 75. But this is going to belong to your kids. At this point, without faith, you think Yahweh is on some different kind of stuff. So if you plan on giving it, you know, to my kids, you know, we probably should have had this conversation 40 years ago. But Yahweh is not limited by what natural man is limited by. Go ahead.
And there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down into Egypt to sojourn there, for the famine was grievous in the land. And it came to pass, when he was come near to enter into Egypt, that he said unto Sarai his wife, Behold now, I know that you are a fair woman to look upon. Therefore it shall come to pass, when the Egyptians shall see you, that they shall say, This is his wife. And they will kill me, but they will save you alive.
Right. Now, this is his perception of what they're going to do. It's not like they came to him and said that this is what they were going to do. But understanding that Yahweh is making them live things out. First time I read this, there were some things that didn't jump out, because it looks like some really strange stuff going on here. He asked his wife to lie for him concerning who she is with him. And this ain't the only time. Go ahead.
Say, I pray you, you are my sister, that it may be well with me for your sake, and my soul shall live because of you. And it came to pass that, when Abram was come into Egypt, the Egyptians beheld the woman that she was very fair.
He says, say I pray you that you are my sister, that it may be well with me for your sake, and my soul shall live because of you. So he puts her in a somewhat of a savior status for him. Go ahead.
The princes also of Pharaoh saw her, and commended her before Pharaoh, and the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house.
Now you have to think about what it has to do to a man's heart to see his wife taken into somebody else's house, and what it's got to do to that woman. But there's more that's going on here other than their personal things. See, Yahweh is dealing with something much greater than that. And that's the mistake that we often make when we go through this. We think we're watching the problems and the bickerings of people in a house. And we miss the prophetic part of what Yahweh is making them live through. See, when we think we're going to read prophecy, we're going to go read Daniel. We want to go, you know, pull out the calculator and jump into some numbers. We got equations going on. We got all this kind of stuff. We don't think when we read in Genesis that we're reading prophecy. Go ahead.
And he entreated Abram well for her sake. And he had sheep and oxen and he asses and men servants and maid servants and she asses and camels.
Now, first time I read this, I was like, now what kind of player stuff is this? He done let the woman go in there. And now he got the sheep and oxen, and he asked, what kind of, that don't seem kosher. Keep reading.
And Yahweh plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abram's wife.
So wait a minute. Yahweh let him lie. Send a woman in the house. Plague the man whose house he went into, but then let him get the stuff. Yahweh must be dealing with something different than what we see with our natural eyes then. Keep reading.
And Pharaoh called Abram and said, What is this that you have done unto me? Why did you not tell me that she was your wife? Why said you, She is my sister, so I might have taken her to me to wife? Now therefore behold your wife, take her, and go your way. And Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, and they sent him away, and his wife, and all that he had.
So then you see then with this situation, Pharaoh then sends him out with his wife, but with all the stuff too. So when you read this, you're like, wait a minute, man. Now this is a righteous Elohim, right? What? This something about this it didn't go over right. This is why you have to keep reading and not lean on your own understanding. Let's go to Genesis chapter 20. Genesis chapter 20, and we're going to start that at verse 1, and we're going to read that through chapter 21 and verse 8.
And Abraham journeyed from thence toward the south country, and dwelt between Kadesh and Shur, and sojourned in Gerar. And Abraham said of Sarai, his wife, she's my sister.
This again? Now, we were just in Genesis 12, he said that was my sister. Now, we in Genesis 20, he said that's my sister. Now, that's a different place. That was Pharaoh. Now, he in around Abimelech now. So, they done got that sister thing down. Go ahead.
And Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent and took Sarai.
Here she go in somebody's house again. Something don't seem right about this here. Go ahead.
But Elohim came to Abimelech in a dream by night.
And here come Yahweh now. So, on one natural point, this don't look right. But here come Yahweh every time. Now, why is that? It don't look right. So, why do Yahweh keep showing up? Go ahead.
And said to him, behold, you are but a dead man.
Wait a minute. The dude done told me that was his sister, man. Now I'm dead. Go ahead, man.
For the woman which you have taken, for she is a man's wife.
Yeah, but the man. Go ahead.
But Abimelech had not come near her. And he said, Adonai, will you slay also a righteous nation? Said he not unto me, she is my sister? And she, even she herself said, he is my brother. In the integrity of my heart and innocency of my hands have I done this.
In the integrity of my heart and innocency of my hands have I done this. Go ahead.
And Elohim said unto him in a dream, yeah, I know that you did this in the integrity of your heart.
Yeah, I know that. But I'm still going to kill you if you touch it. But I know you did it in the integrity of your heart. I know you did it in innocency. I know he lied to you. But if you touch her, I'm going to kill you. Are we clear? Go ahead.
For I also withheld you from sinning against me.
Uh-huh.
Therefore suffered I you not to touch her.
Right. I'm the reason why you didn't touch her. So don't come bragging about you didn't touch her. Every time you got near her, I made you have equipment failure. Go ahead.
Now therefore restore the man his wife, for he is a prophet.
He is a prophet, but he told me a lie though. Go ahead.
And he shall pray for you, and you shall live.
Now, he gonna pray for you, and I'm gonna hear him. Now, check out the confusion of it. Well, you didn't hear him when he told me that was his sister? You ain't hear him there? You ain't hear him there? But you gonna hear him when he pray. Yahweh say, I pardon whom I will. Who are you that reply against Elohim? This is my servant. You don't tell me what to do with my servant. Go ahead.
And if you restore her not, know you that you shall surely die, you and all that are yours.
If you don't restore her, you and everything you got gonna die. I don't care what he told you. Go ahead.
Therefore Abimelech rose early in the morning and called all his servants and told all these things in their ears. And the men were sore afraid. Then Abimelech called Abraham and said unto him, what have you done unto us? And what have I offended you, that you have brought unto me on my kingdom a great sin?
Mm-hmm.
You have done deeds unto me that ought not to be done. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, what saweth you that you have done this thing?
What saweth you that you have done this thing? Now, consider some things now, because this is about to get a little bit more interesting. You know, Abimelech is noticing, okay, surely your Elohim is with you. Your Elohim protects you. You know, everything you move, he moves accordingly. But what did you see that caused you to do this unto me? Go ahead.
And Abraham said, because I thought surely the fear of Elohim is not in this place, and they will slay me for my wife's sake.
So, in other words, the way in which your people carry themselves make me not approach unto you in truth. If it was not such an aggressive manner with you and your people, I would have approached you in truth. So then the fear was there because of how you conduct yourselves. Remember what they said about Nabal before Dawid went and took Abigail to wife? Mm-hmm. They went to go say something to Nabal. They said, you can't talk to him. He go off immediately. So the servants couldn't even go and talk to him to persuade him to do anything. And it ended up becoming the death of him. Go ahead.
Verse 12. Genesis chapter 20 and verse 12. And yet indeed she is my sister. She is the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother.
And there he go with that slickness. Now that you know what I'm saying? I mean, she, you know, per se, she is, you know, my sister somewhat in a way, in a fashion or form. Come on, bro. You didn't tell me fashion or form or in some way when you said it. Now, Go ahead.
And she became my wife. And it came to pass when Elohim caused me to wander from my father's house, that I said unto her, this is your kindness which you shall show unto me. At every place whether we shall come, say of me, he is my brother. And Abimelech took sheep and oxen and men servants and women servants and gave them unto Abraham.
Wait a minute. Here we go again. Wait a minute. This situation didn't start out right. Once again, he leaving with stuff, man. And Yahweh keep backing him up in every last one of these. So is it right or is it wrong? If it's wrong, why Yahweh keep backing him? If it's wrong, why do Yahweh show up to tell people in the dream, I'm going to kill you? Yeah, our brother not want to go to sleep the next night. I ain't going to sleep. Why? Because the man cut that man God game last night. Go ahead.
And restored him Sarah his wife. And Abimelech said, behold, my land is before you. Dwell where it pleases you. And unto Sarah he said, behold, I have given your brother 1,000 pieces of silver.
And yeah, that had to sound strange even saying that. I gave your brother husband 1,000 pieces of silver. You know, your brother husband. You know, your husband brother. A brother husband. Whatever y'all is. Because I'm confused. Go ahead.
Behold, he is to you a covering of the eyes.
He is a covering. Go ahead.
Unto all that are with you, and with all other. Thus she was reproved. So Abraham prayed unto Elohim, and Elohim healed Abimelech and his wife and his maidservants, and they bare children.
Wait a minute. So the dude that came in and told me that the woman was his sister, then I give him stuff. You mean the dude pray for me and then my house get healed? Things ain't always as they appear. Go ahead.
For Yahweh had fast closed up all the wombs of the house of Abimelech because of Sarah, Abraham's wife.
Look at that. He put everything on hold. So I don't care how this turn out. If they don't do right by you, ain't nothing gonna prosper. Go ahead.
And Yahweh visited
But ain't that what he said before? And everything, whoever blesses you shall be blessed. And whoever curses you shall be cursed. They're not cursing him with their mouth. They're cursing him with their actions. And they don't even know it. And this is the one man. Think about everybody else in the house. They ain't did nothing. Like, man, I didn't have nothing to do with that. Why are we having issues over here? Say, man, you need to go fix that. Go ahead.
And Yahweh visited Sarah as he had said, and Yahweh did unto Sarah as he had spoken. For Sarah conceived, and bare Abraham a son in his old age, at the set time of which Elohim had spoken to him. And Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bare to him, Esaac. And Abraham circumcised his son Esaac, being 8 days old, as Elohim had commanded him. And Abraham was 100 years old when his son Esaac was born unto him.
Now, when you receive this and you originally start talking, he's 75 years old. He don't receive these things till 100. Go ahead.
And Sarah said, Elohim has made me to laugh, so that all that hear will laugh with me.
Right. That's what Esau means, laughter. That's why she called him laughter. Go ahead.
And she said, who would have said unto Abraham that Sarah would have given children suck? For I have borne him a son in his old age.
Because she laughed when the angel said, you're going to have this child at an old age. She didn't laugh out loud. See? This is that part that we got to understand. You don't have to do something outwardly for Yahweh to know. Angel say, you shall bring forth a son. Angel, why you laugh? I ain't laugh. Yes, you did. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I did not laugh. And she swore out, I didn't laugh. Later on, she came to it. Yeah, I laughed. So instead of, I can't go back and go find the angel. See, she can't go back and straighten that out because he's not coming back no more. But to deal with herself, she named the kid Laughter. Because at some point she had to understand and agree with herself. I told that angel a lie. I said I didn't laugh. He knew I laughed. So every time I called that boy, Laughter, come here. She is reproving herself every time she called, Laughter, come here. Why you call me that? Because I told the angel that ain't what I did and I was lying. Come here, boy. She's chastising herself with that. There are certain things that you don't really see, that it doesn't really come out like that because it's not explained right away. You got to read through it, go back, read through it, come back, and then you start picking up some stuff. Oh, now I understand why she did that. Go ahead.
And the child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast the same day that Esau was weaned.
All right. So there were two strange events that were there. Let's go to the next graphic, and I want you to read Genesis 12 and verse 16.
And he entreated Abraham well for her sake, and he had sheep and oxen and he-asses and men servants and maid servants and she-asses and camels.
So what this was, Sarah was representative of Israel. This is the first captivity of Israel. See, you got a lot of small captivities that Israel will go through. Yahweh is dealing with the first one and the last one. Now read Genesis chapter 20 and verse 6.
And Elohim said unto him in a dream, Yea, I know that you did this in the integrity of your heart, for I also withheld you from sinning against me. Therefore suffered I you not to touch her.
Right. The second time she has gone into this house, this is the second captivity of Israel. Now, this may seem like the problems of a man in his house, yet Sarah is the princess. In fact, the root words for Sarah and El combine together to form Israel. Israel is the paramount wife of Yahweh. She went into the house of another man and came out with great substance. In real life, Israel went into Egypt, the house of Pharaoh, then came out with great substance. And the same is prophesied to happen when Israel leaves spiritual Egypt. If you look at this with natural eyes, it will appear that Abraham has somehow unrighteously used his wife for material gain, when in fact, this was about what would happen unto Israel. So this was prophecy that they had to live out. And to go deeper into that, let's go ahead and break down these names so you can see that. Read the definition for Sarah.
From H8282, Sarah, feminine of H8269, a mistress, that is, female noble, lady, princess, queen.
Right. So, and you have these H82808182. They're all giving you different forms of this same thing. So I want you to pay attention to that. Next definition for L.
H410, shortened from H352, strength, as adjective mighty, especially the Almighty, but used also of any deity.
So then what they know of as God, which is a generic term for God, is El. So El could be any God. That's why when they started referring to Yahweh, it was El Shaddai, Elohim Almighty. Then he gave them his name of Yahweh. But before, all they knew is El. So now, read the definition for Israel.
H3478, Yisrael, from H8280.
Right? That's a form of Sarah.
And H410.
H410, which we just read, was El. So, Sarah and El. Shrael. That is princess of God. That is who she was. She was representative of Israel, and even her name broke down. Shows you. That's who Sarah was. And understand who was playing the part of El. Abraham. You got Abraham, who is El. Sarah, who then brought forth Israel. See, Yahweh not waiting on you to, understand it. He just keep going. You'll get it later. If he waited on us, we'd still be at chapter 1. He ain't got time to be waiting on you. You come back, you'll get it. But he's not going to wait on you. He's going to keep moving forward. So when people read this and they start trying to tell you that this is about the bickerings of what was going on in a family, they don't understand what they're reading. Instead of trying to teach people. Let's go to read the rest of that. I don't think did you get to the rest of that?
No.
Go ahead.
He will rule as El.
He will rule as El. That's what, when you break Israel down, if he ruled as El, he's a prince. She is princess. Go ahead.
Yisrael, a symbolic name of Jacob, also of his posterity. Israel.
All right, and read Genesis 32 and verse 28. Just read that out for me.
And he said, your name shall be called no more Jacob, but Yisrael. For as a prince have you power with Elohim and with men, and has prevailed.
So even when he was given the name, the explanation was then given that you have power with Elohim as a prince. You break down the etymology of the name and you get right down to prince and princess. That's why if you go into certain parts of Israel, especially, in certain areas of West End Atlanta, where you have some Hebrews over there, they all refer to each other as prince and princess. At first, you think, they tripping over here. They're just dealing with the etymology of the name and calling each other prince. I know some people, they will not even call me by my name and say, hey, what's going on, prince? Because they know what Israel means. So that's, they will never call me Israel. They always call me prince. But I know what they're saying. And I know why they're saying it. Let's go to Genesis chapter 21, and I want you to read verse 33.
And Abraham planted a grove in Beersheba and called there on the name of Yah.
Now, if you don't understand the things of what a grove is, then some of this will get by you. Some of this will miss you. Because here it is. This is the man that is representing Yahweh here on the earth. Yet, this man then plants a grove and calls upon the name of Yahweh. Go to the next graphic. Read that note there.
Forbidden forms of worship. You shall not plant you a grove of any trees near unto the altar of Yahweh your Elohim, which you shall make you.
Now, he hadn't set forth the law yet. Yahweh was already protecting Abram even before all of these things went down. He had to already forgive him of it, because This was a practice that they already did in worshiping these trees. So then Yahweh made sure, don't mix that tree worship and my holy name together no more. So then he made sure when he got ready to set up his law, don't plant no trees near my altar. Go ahead, keep reading.
Neither shall you set you up any image which Yahweh your Elohim hates.
Neither shall you set up any image which Yahweh your Elohim hates. And that's Deuteronomy 16 verses 21 through 22. So when you deal with that in Genesis 21 and verse 33, Abraham planted a grove and called upon the name of Yahweh. He transgressed again. The belief that a holy man is not a man is a strange concept that people, try to deal with. He's still a man. He ain't never stopped being a man. He's just a man that Yahweh chose to do a job. But that right there, oh, that was wrong. Him planting that grove and then calling upon Yahweh, he was mixing two forms of worship. He was mixing the worship of the things of his folks, what was near him, and the things that Yahweh had given unto him. And Yahweh didn't even deal with him. But he made sure he put it in his law going forward. Hey, don't do this right here, because I already know what y'all doing. And the first thing you see coming December is they had that Christmas tree sitting right in the Christian church. And some of them know there's a problem with it. And they step away from it and try to pull it down, but then their members, get on them so hard, they put it back up. Let's go to Genesis chapter 22, and we're going to start that at verse 1.
Genesis chapter 22 and verse 1. And it came to pass after these things that Elohim did tempt Abraham, and said unto him, Abraham, and he said, Behold, here I am. And he said, Take now your son, your only son Esau, whom you love, and get you into the land of Moriah.
All right, first of all, he tells him his only son, and we know that he had a son before Esau. He had a son by Hagar before. But Yahweh said, no, this is your only son. Oh, no, I got another son. No, you don't. I'm talking about covenant and holy seed wise. See, Yahweh is on a different plane. He's not on the regular level. Yeah, you got some more natural sons. I'm talking about the spiritual one. We're not even talking about the natural one. We don't want to discuss them right now. Go ahead.
And offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains, which I will tell you of.
I need you to offer this son, this gift that I gave you, and you're going to offer him in the land of Moriah. Go ahead.
His whole journey is always, I will tell you of it. So he never knows exactly where he's going. I will tell you of it.
But you know what? We want to know everything before it even starts. We want to know everything. We need to know, right? It's like we expect to have a spiritual GPS. Let's put in salvation. Let me see where it's going to take me. Okay. All right. Yeah, make that left turn on Albuquerque. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now we can move. That ain't going to work. That ain't going to work. We want to know everything. And you don't give Yahweh an opportunity to be Yahweh. What if there's something that he got to do in between them two turns? But now you already stuck on that turn. I know this is where I got to turn, so I'm turning. Yeah, but I don't need you to turn just yet, because I got somebody who's supposed to bring you something right here. Now, if you make this turn too early, you don't get that thing that I got for you. You turning too early. This is what happened when you know too much at too early. Go ahead.
And Abraham rose up early in the morning, and saddled his ass, and took 2 of his young men with him, and Esaac his son, and clave the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up, and went on to the place of which Elohim had told him. Then on the 3rd day Abraham lifted up his eyes, and saw the place afar off.
Right, now you got certain things that you have to remember out of here. You got Moriah, now you got, in the 3rd day, you then see this place where he is supposed to offer up Esau. Go ahead.
And Abraham said unto his young men, Abide you here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship and come again to you.
Right. Now, he has been told that he got to offer up the boy. His belief is so strong with Yahweh that he already believes he's going to get him back. See, non-believers need a sign. Believers don't need a sign. He went there with wood to sacrifice the child and said, look, man, we coming back. Yeah, but you finna offer up the boy. Yeah, but Yahweh made me a promise. And Yahweh gonna keep his promise. Come hell or high water. I don't know how he gonna do it. I don't know that much. I'm kind of slow. But I tell you what, me and this boy coming back. I don't know how we coming back, but we coming back. Because he told me he made all kind of promises to me about this boy. So I'm finna go offer this boy up. And we'll be back. Man, you know how strange that sound? And you know he couldn't have took no mama with him right there, because it would have been a fight right there. You think you finna offer up my child? We gonna show you? Well, it would have been a fight right there. He would have got hit with the wood, everything. Go ahead.
You know, you was touching on the 3 days when he got to the place. And for those who overlook it, he had a forced 3-day sanctification. Because he was going to make a presentation. He was going to appear before Yahweh. So, you know, for those who think it's a strange concept of
sanctifying yourself against the third day.
He was forced to sanctify himself.
Because some people think that's it. Why I got to do that? I don't want to do that. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 6.
Good point, bro. Go ahead.
And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Esau his son. And he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they went both of them together. And Esau spake unto Abraham his father, and said, My father. And he said, Here am I, my son. And he said, Behold the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering? And Abraham said, My son, Elohim will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they went both of them together.
Right. My son Elohim will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. Still have the faith that no matter what happens, he's not losing his child. All the time going up to kill him. Go ahead.
And they came to the place which Elohim had told him of. And Abraham built an altar there, and laid the wood in order, and bound Esau his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched forth his hand, and took the knife to slay his son.
I mean, he going all the way down to the wire. Go ahead.
You know, you were mentioning that the mother wasn't there because of the type of fight. Can you imagine if he had told the son, he'd be chasing him too.
Yeah. You know, he don't tell him until the last minute. Yahweh will provide himself a lamb. See? But we want to know everything at beginning. And we wouldn't have had nobody there had he told. Wouldn't have had no offering, wouldn't have had no nothing. He would have got hit with the wood, with the mama, the kid would have took off running. And you old man, you ain't catching no little boy. Now, we learn not to run in straight lines, you know what I'm saying? But you'll never catch that little boy. He takes so many turns, he been busted his kneecaps trying to catch that little boy. Go ahead.
Verse 10. And Abraham stretched forth his hand, and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of Yahweh called unto him out of heaven, and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Lay not your hand upon the lad, neither do you anything unto him. For now I know that you feareth Elohim.
Now I know that you fear Elohim. See, he know that because he was put in situation and circumstance, not by a whole bunch of things that he say. Because we say a whole lot of things out of our mouth. Oh, we love Yahweh. Oh, praise Yahweh. Oh, Shabbat Shalom. When the rubber hit the road, what we gonna do? He said, no. Now I know. Why? Because of your actions. Yeah, I heard you on the way up saying Yahweh shall provide himself a lamb. That sounded nice. I heard that. I heard you when you say, look, me and the lad going up here and we coming back. I heard that. That sound good. Sound like, you know, we're more than conquerors. But anyway, it sounded good. But when you grabbed that knife and got ready to slay him and went all the way down, oh, now I know. I heard what you said, but it's what you did that let me know. Oh, now I know. Go ahead.
Seeing you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in a thicket by his horns.
Right. So if you don't go all the way down to the wire, you don't get the replacement blessing. See, if you try to do it yourself, you miss, hey, you're not going to find that ram. Go all the way down. Go all the way down to the wire. And you'll see that the blessing that Yahweh got caught in them woods for you. He said, Yahweh shall provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. And Yahweh did. Go ahead, brother.
That's really enduring to the end.
Of course it is enduring to the end. I mean, very end, scary end, bruh. To do that. And we have to consider, Yahweh hadn't asked us to do anything like that. He hadn't put us in a position for us to have to do that. But we read these things and then go trivial with them and think that it's just about, the bickerings of family. If you don't see Yahshua in this, you need to back up and do some more study. Because Yahshua all in this. See, Abraham, representation of Yahweh. Esaac, then, being offered up, is a representation of Yahshua. All of this is then going to be fulfilled in the New Testament concerning Yahshua. But he making them live it. They don't get no book to read. Talking about this shall happen. No, he made them do it. Go ahead.
And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son.
Mm-hmm.
And Abraham called the name of that place Yahweh Yireh, as it is said to this day, in the mount of Yahweh it shall be seen.
Now, we're gonna have to point out some things here in a second as to the slickness of, they put Jehovah Jireh right there in 14, but when we look up Moriah, I want to show y'all something. Just so, people think that, these Euro Gentiles didn't know what they were doing. They knew exactly what they were doing. Okay? So they would choose to change one word, but they thought another word wasn't important. So they forgot to change that one. Go ahead.
And the angel of Yahweh called unto Abraham out of heaven the second time, and said, By myself have I sworn, says Yahweh, for because you have done this thing, and have not withheld your son, your only son, that in blessing I will bless you, and in multiplying I will multiply your seed as the stars of the heaven.
Right. So in giving up, you actually are going to get. Go ahead.
And as the sand which is upon the seashore, and your seed shall possess the gate of his enemies. And in your seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because you have obeyed my voice.
And in your seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because you have obeyed my voice. Go ahead.
So Abraham returned unto his young man, and they rose up and went together to Beersheba. And Abraham dwelt at Beersheba.
All right. So then there's some things in that we have to consider. It says, for Elohim so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, and whosoever believes in him shall have everlasting life. This is the most popular scripture ever, John 3:16. So when you get down to the whole situation of what he asked Abraham to do, he didn't ask him to do something that he wasn't going to do. He was playing the role of Yahweh here on earth. I'm going to offer up my son. I'm going to ask you to offer up yours. But I'm going to give you yours back, because I'm going to get mine back. But it's going to have to go all the way down to the wire. When you looked at, like Brother Kish was talking about, with Esaac, the third day was before the sacrifice. With Yahshua, the third day was after the sacrifice. See, Yahweh is doing stuff, but if you just reading it, there's certain things don't even, make any sense to you. You just reading it. It's just some stuff. It's just a book of stories. Ain't that what people say? It's just a book. It's just a book of stories. So they don't see that part in it. So now let's go to the definition of Moriah, and let's go to 2 Chronicles chapter 3.
Second Chronicles chapter 3, verse 1. Then Shlomo began to build the house of Yahweh at Jerusalem in Mount Moriah.
Now, this is where Esau was offered up at. Okay? Go ahead.
Where Yahweh appeared unto David his father.
Yahweh appeared, the angel of Yahweh appeared unto David in the same spot. Go ahead.
In the place that David had prepared in the threshing floor of Ornan the Jebusite.
So keep going.
And he began to build in the 2nd day of the 2nd month in the 4th year of his reign.
So then we see that the same place where Esau was offered is Jerusalem. It just ain't there yet. The same place where he's offered is the same place that this holy place has to be set up. They just don't know that yet. Now read the definition of Moriah.
H4179, Moriah, from H7200 and H3050, scene of YAH.
Scene of YAH. Now, they didn't say Moriah God. They didn't say Moriah Hova. Now, if they left this Moriah, they could have left the other one. But see, this is the thing you have to see when people jump in and out of a foundation as it suits their particular need. So 1 minute, they need this to be a certain way, so it will reinforce their thought process that they don't want to get off of. So they want to use Jehovah. They want to use the false name. So they throw it in there. But then not understanding how important Moriah is, they had no reason to change it. They don't understand. Wait a minute. This is the same place where Esaac is offered, where all of the things of Yahshua is going to go down, where the holy temple is going to be. They didn't understand the importance of that. So they didn't have a reason to change it. They didn't know it was important. That's how Yahweh tricked even the tricksters. They didn't know that was an important place. Now let's go to Genesis chapter 25.
Genesis chapter 25 and verse 1. Then again Abraham took a wife, and her name was Keturah. And she bare him Zimran, and Yokshan, and Medan, and Midian, and Ishbak, and Shua.
Now, Yahweh has already said, I'm going to bless you. The whole earth is going to be blessed through you. And Abraham is standing in the stead of Yahweh. Go ahead.
And Yokshan begot Sheba and Dedan. And the sons of Dedan were Asherim, and Lushim, and Lumamim. And the sons of Midian, Ephah, and Epher, and Hanok, and Abida, and Eldah. All these were the children of Keturah.
Now, when you consider the things that ended up happening with Moshe, and he has to go and deal with the Midianites, you back up and find out, oh, these are children of Abraham. He ended up getting him a wife out of Midian. Oh, those are children of Abraham. See, there's a lot more going on in the story, and if you just kind of skim through it, you just think you're reading some family drama. Go ahead.
And Abraham gave all that he had unto Esau, but unto the sons of the concubines, which Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts.
Right. These represent the other nations. Go ahead.
And sent them away from Esau his son, while he yet lived, eastward onto the east country.
Right. The children of Israel were supposed to be separated from all the other nations. Go ahead.
And these are the days of the years of Abraham's life which he lived, 160 years. Then Abraham gave up the ghost, and died in a good old age, an old man, and full of years, and was gathered to his people. And his sons Esaac and Ishmael buried him in the cave of Machpelah, in the field of Ephron, the son of Zohar the Hittite, which is before Mamre.
Now, remember now, when Yahweh got ready to talk to him, he said, bring forth your only son. Then when it's time to get buried, yeah, go get your sons. Wait a minute. First you said I ain't have but one. Now it's both of these boys. Yeah, you know what I meant. Go ahead.
And for those of us who don't see it, there's your Hebrew Israelites and your Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
Now you understand why the culture seems so similar.
Right. And they don't understand. We're going to have to go right back through them Muslims' land on our way to Israel. So everybody can talk all that talk they want to talk. We're going to learn Hebrew. We're going to do all of these things. I ain't going to wear no head covering. I ain't going to do this. I don't believe this. All right. Let's see how you act when that AK-47 pointed at you. I want to hear you say all that talk. That same big talk you talk now. Like Samuel L. Jackson said, when you absolutely got to kill everybody in the room, nothing but an AK-47 will do. Let me see you talk that talk when that banana clip hanging out the bottom of it. Don't be part-time bold. No. Keep that same boldness. Go ahead.
Verse 10, the field which Abraham purchased of the sons of Heth. There was Abraham buried, and Sarah his wife. And it came to pass after the death of Abraham, that Elohim blessed his son Esau, and Esau dwelt by the well Lahairoi. Now these are the generations of Ishmael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar the Egyptian, Sarah's handmaid, bare unto Abraham. And these are the names of the sons of Ishmael, by their names, according to their generations. The firstborn of Ishmael, Nebaioth, and Kedar, and Abiel, and Mibsam, and Mishma, and Duma, and Mesa, Hadar, and Tema, Yator, Naphish, and Kidmah. These are the sons of Ishmael, and these are their names, by their towns and by their castles, 12 princes according to their nations.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the years of the life of Ishmael, 137 years. And he gave up the ghost and died, and was gathered unto his people. And they dwelt from Havilah unto Shur, that is before Egypt, as you go toward Assyria. And he died in the presence of all his brethren.
All right. So then we see Abraham bringing forth other nations other than Israel. And somehow, we jump over all of that and just get right to Israel, and we just deal with Israel alone. But Yahweh has other nations that are going to be invited to that wedding feast. Let's go to Matthew chapter 25. See, well, you know what to listen for? There's all kind of things contained in this book. Matthew chapter 25, and let's read verses 1 through 13.
Then shall the kingdom of heaven be like unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom.
Right. So he didn't say one virgin and it's just Israel. So this whole keeping everybody else out of the kingdom, or anybody else is then reduced to a slave. We can't rule over people the way that people were ruled over us. The ones who did things in rigor, Yahweh gonna deal with them. But he didn't invite one virgin to the wedding. This ain't just Israel. So if you plan on cutting off other nations, you can go ahead and get out of this. You can leave now. Go ahead.
And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps.
Right. So the foolish versions and the wise versions look just alike until something happens. Something has to happen. If nothing happens, they all look the same. Situation and circumstance. The same thing we were reading about in the beginning. It was things happening in their lives. Yahweh said, now I know that you believe me. Now I know that you will do this. Right. There has to be something that separates the wise virgins from the foolish virgins. But they look just alike. Go ahead.
While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom comes. Go you out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out.
Right. This is representative of the other nations being brought into that. Yahweh is using, or Yahshua is the one who's speaking here because it's in red. He's using the situation of marriage to explain that. Go ahead.
But the wise answered, saying, Not so, least there be not enough for us and you. But go you rather to them that sell, and buy for yourselves.
In other words, I'm not going to give you my oil. Oil is symbolic of the spirit. I'm not going to allow you to borrow of my spirit. What happens if I don't have enough for myself? You can't get my spirit. I let you borrow my camel. I let you ride my horse. But you can't have my spirit. I need that. Go ahead.
And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came. And they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Adonai, Adonai, open to us. But he answered and said, Verily I say unto you, I know you not.
I know you not, but they look just like the other ones. But I don't know you, but they look just like the other ones. But Yahweh doesn't look at things after the outward appearance. So what it looked like on the outside never meant anything to him. Go ahead.
Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man comes.
All right, let's go to Acts chapter 10. Acts chapter 10. And go ahead and start that at verse 1.
Okay. Acts chapter 10 and verse 1. There was a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius, a centurion of the band called the Italian band, a devout man, and one that feared Elohim with all his house, which gave much alms to the people, and prayed to Elohim always.
Now, this certain man in Caesarea was of the band called the Italian band. They hadn't even had any opening unto them for Gentiles to be able to deal with this. So he's dealing with the Elohim of a people that his people rules over. And once we see physical power over something, we automatically believe that that thing there must not be worthy to be worshipped. He's in a totally different place. Go ahead.
He saw in a vision, evidently about the 9th hour of the day, an angel of Elohim coming in to him, and saying unto him, Cornelius. And when he looked on him, he was afraid, and said, What is it, Adonai? And he said unto him, Your prayers and your alms are come up for a memorial before Elohim.
Your prayers and your alms are come up for a memorial before Elohim. But that's not just right away. Go ahead.
And now send men to Joppa, and call for one Simeon, whose surname is Peter. He lodgeth with one Simeon a tanner, whose house is by the seaside. he shall tell you what you ought to do. And when the angel which spake unto Cornelius was departed, he called two of his household servants, and a devout soldier of them that waited on him continually. And when he had declared all these things unto them, he sent them to Joppa. On the morrow, as they went on their journey, and drew near unto the city, Cephas went up upon the housetop to pray about the 6th hour. And he became very hungry, and would have eaten. But while they made ready, he fell into a trance, and saw heaven opened, and a certain vessel descending unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the 4 corners, and let down to the earth, wherein were all manner of 4-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air. And there came a voice to him, Rise, Cephas, kill and eat.
And of course, we know that when we hear this through the ears of other people, this is when they claim all food was cleansed. See, this is when Sunday morning tell you that the pork chop just turned holy. Because see, this is what he's all manner of beasts. You see this? Oh, this is when they go to humming and shouting. Yeah. They already making the pork chops in the back when they do it. Every time he's they pour more gravy on it. That's the gravy sound right there. You know what I'm saying? You don't even ask for gravy. You just, when they pour it, you be like, okay, that's it. Right. Go ahead.
But Cephas said, Not so, Adonai, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean. And the voice spake unto him again the 2nd time, What Elohim has cleansed, that call not you common.
So automatically, I'm not eating that. Something must be wrong with this vision. Because that stuff is not edible. This New Testament, I'm not eating that. Go ahead.
This was done 3 times, and the vessel was received up again into heaven.
3 times. Now, imagine if you just went early, you couldn't wait, and you said, I got a vision of unclean animals, and now I think I want some calamari. You know, I think I want to go ahead and go off into this right here. What if he didn't wait for understanding? Go ahead.
Keep in mind, this is when he's hungry too.
And you know, that's always the worst time. You know, you go in the grocery store when you're hungry, you pick up all kind of stuff, right? That bill be $600. You're like, good God Almighty. I mean, you pick up everything. Do not go to the grocery store hungry. You need to eat something before you go in there. Because everything look good. Oh, my goodness. Oh, that look nice. Let me get this. Oh, look at this. Oh, my goodness. Hey. You about to be broke. Do not go in that place hungry. But understand, when Yahshua got tested, he was fasting. Won't you command these stones that they be made bread? Why you gonna taunt a man with bread you know he ain't ate in 40 days? Go ahead.
Now while Cephas doubted in himself what this vision which he had seen should mean, behold, the men which were sent from Cornelius had made inquiry for Simeon's house, and stood before the gate, and called, and asked whether Simeon, which was surnamed Peter, were lodged there. While Cephas thought on the vision, the Spirit said unto him, Behold, 3 men seek you.
Now, while Cephas thought on the vision, see, at this point now there's meditation. He is not just moved with what he thought it was. He got a vision. He didn't even understand the vision. But he's meditating on the vision. He didn't just move and say, this is what it is. This is what I'm finna do. Give it them pork chops. And make sure you, all over that. That's not what he did. Go ahead.
Arise therefore, and get you down, and go with them, doubting nothing, for I have sent them. Then Cephas went down to the men which were sent unto him from Cornelius, and said, Behold, I am he whom you seek. What is the cause wherefore you are come? And they said, Cornelius the centurion, a just man, and one that fears Elohim, and of good report among all the nation of the Yehudis, was warned from Elohim by an holy angel to send for you into his house, and to hear the words of you.
Right. So when you talk about these things and them receiving these things from angels or dreams, multiple people have to receive these things for them to go into place. You're not just looking at a situation of one vision. See, this is the thing that sometimes we end up requiring of Yahweh. Oh, but he's going to have to do that 3-4 times. He can't just do that with you. When you deal with the situation of Saul, you had something with Saul, and then you also had him. He had to come to the man who Saul was going to go to. Go ahead.
Then called he them in and lodged them. And on the morrow Cephas went away with them, and certain brethren from Joppa accompanied him. And the morrow after they entered into Caesarea, and Cornelius waited for them, and had called together his kinsmen and near friends. And as Cephas was coming in, Cornelius met him, and fell down at his feet and worshipped him. But Cephas took him up, saying, Stand up, I myself also am a man.
I myself am also a man. Anyone seeking after righteousness will not allow anyone else to worship them. Now, what people do on their own is what people do on their own. But no person seeking after righteousness is going to allow that. The angels wouldn't even allow that. When we go into this book and the brothers tried to bow down to the angel says, see, you do it not. I'm a servant of Elohim. Worship you, Elohim. No one seeking after righteousness is going to allow somebody else to worship them. You come before me and hit my knees, I'm going to hit my knees too. What we bound for? Where you at? Where you seen Yahshua? You seen it? Damn, I wonder why I didn't see him. Where you at? Because I knew you couldn't have been bound to me. I'm going to do it just like we did in the hood. Somebody take out running, I'm running too. What we running for? I'll find out when we get there. What was it? Go ahead, bro.
And as he talked with him, he went in and found many that were come together. And he said unto them, You know how that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Yehudi to keep company or come on to one of another nation. But Elohim has showed me that I should not call any man common or unclean.
Any man common or unclean. So this had absolutely nothing to do with food. But you got to get to the end and read the whole thing to understand that. Go ahead.
Therefore came I unto you without gainsaying, as soon as I was sent for. I asked therefore, for what intent you have sent for me? And Cornelius said, 4 days ago I was fasting until this hour. And at the 9th hour I prayed in my house.
Wait a minute. I was fasting until this hour, and at the 9th hour I prayed in my house. So he prayed while he was fasting. Go ahead.
And behold, a man stood before me in bright clothing, and said, Cornelius, your prayers is heard, and your alms are had in remembrance in the sight of Elohim. Send therefore to Joppa, and call hither Simeon, whose surname is Peter. He is lodged in the house of one Simon, a tanner by the seaside, who, when he comes, shall speak unto you. Immediately therefore I sent to you, and you have well done that you are come. Now therefore are we all here present before Elohim, to hear all things that are commanded you of Elohim.
Right. So, the man received a vision, but then Cephas did too. So then you have those things being weighed out. So when you deal with the situation of Abraham having being told that there was going to be these blessings through his seed, you understand that Yahweh is bringing other nations into this fold, and it can't just be Israel. We get into the point of he's married to Israel. Yeah, that's true. But Israel cannot be the only one at the marriage feast. Yahweh made the whole earth. So this can't just be about us. Let's go to Revelation chapter 7. But that's how, even when we deal with this word, we still come away with some of that Sunday morning personal Lord and Savior, you know, because it's just us, you know. It's our thing, you know, how you know. I mean, he's my personal God. I put him in my pocket on the way in. Because he's a personal Lord and Savior. You can't find that nowhere in this book. But you hear it over and over and over and over again. He can't be just your God. He's somebody else's God too. He can't just answer your prayers. He got to answer somebody else's prayers too. And what if your prayer bump into somebody else's? What if you praying for rain and somebody else needed the sun to shine? Now, has Elohim failed you because it didn't, sun didn't come out today? Have you considered that somebody else needs something else? Revelation chapter 7, and let's read, started at verse 1.
And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, and the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living Elohim. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our Elohim in their foreheads.
Right. We're in the process of deciding whether or not we're going to receive that sealing. Because we can reject the sealing. The information can be brought to us and we say, no, I ain't going to deal with it. Or I accept this part, but I ain't going to accept that part. You have to ask, okay, so what happened if the angels see a half seal? Well, I don't know, Yahweh. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. They got the top seal, but they missing the whole bottom part of that. Kill him just because we confused. Kill him. Next. Go ahead.
And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. Of the tribe of Yehuda were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Reuben were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Gad were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Asher were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Naphtali were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Dan were sealed 12,000.
And understand, this is not the number of people that are saved. These people here have a totally different job. They on a totally different level. So don't let anybody tell you that it's just 144,000 people that are going to be saved. And before, when the beginning of Jehovah's Witness and all that, they claimed they were 144,000. Until their numbers got more than 144,000, then they had to find something else. See, that worked as long as your numbers under 144,000. You can say that. We are all 144,000, all us, every last one of us. As soon as they got 145,000, they were like, 1,000 of y'all going to hell. I don't know. That got real difficult right there. They all sitting in there. Who gonna go hell? You going to hell? I ain't going to hell. You going to hell? Got real difficult to explain that extra 1,000. See? Go ahead.
Of the tribe of Simeon were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Levi were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Issachar were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Zebulun were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Joseph were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Benjamin were sealed 12,000. After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number.
After this, see, you have Abraham, who has married Sarah, but then there are 2 other wives with offspring in there. After this, Israel got to be dealt with first. See, Sarah then passed on. There's something that has happened already with Israel. Then afterwards, there's other nations that come forth. Go ahead.
After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations, and kindreds, and people, and tongues, stood before the throne.
All right. A great multitude which no man could number, of all nations, kindreds, and people, and tongues, which are languages. So all these people are receiving the glory of Yahweh, but they don't all speak the same language. So you got these people that's pushing all Hebrew, learn as much Hebrew as possible. Wait a minute. Who are all these people here? Because they all speak different languages. So you mean to tell me Israel is cut off for not speaking Hebrew, but these other nations is coming in here speaking whatever language they speaking? Where they do that at? Go ahead.
And before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands, and cried with a loud voice, saying, Salvation to our Elohim which sits upon the throne and unto the Lamb. And all the angels stood round about the throne and about the elders and the four beasts, and fell before the throne on their faces and worshipped Elohim.
Right. That's an acceptable place for you to bow down. See, you can't bow down before no man, and the angel not going to let you bow down before him. Go ahead.
Saying, Amen. Blessing and glory and wisdom and thanksgiving and honor and power and might be unto our Elohim forever and ever. Amen. And one of the elders answered, saying unto me, What are these which are arrayed in white robes? And whence came they? And I said unto him, Sir, you know it. And he said to me, These are they which came out of great tribulation, and have washed their robes, and made them white in the blood of the Lamb.
These are they which came out of great tribulation. So they had to go through some things. But at the end, they received their salvation. It's like we want the salvation. You know, we want that drive-through salvation. You know? Well, we supersize the salvation, but hold the persecution. We don't want none of that. No, they went through great tribulation and earned their salvation. We just want to jump to the end part. It ain't set up like that. Go ahead.
Therefore are they before the throne of Elohim, and serve him day and night in his temple. And he that sits on the throne shall dwell among them. They shall hunger no more, neither thirst any more, neither shall the sun light on them, nor any heat. For the Lamb which is in the midst of the throne shall feed them, and shall lead them unto living fountains of waters. And Elohim shall wipe away all tears from their eyes.
All right. So then when we deal with these things, then we see that there's a whole story that Yahweh is dealing with. This is not just a situation of Israel and him dealing with Israel alone. Yahweh made the whole earth. The whole earth is his. When he executed and instituted the Sabbath day, that was before any nation was set up. That was before there was any organized Israel or anything. So all the nation, the Muslims should be keeping the Sabbath. All of them should be keeping. Every last one of those places should be keeping the Sabbath. The Sabbath wasn't something. And if you start trying to research things, they'll tell you the Sabbath day is a holy day for the Jews. When Yahweh said he rested on the seventh day, what was a Jew? Where was it? So this goes far beyond those things. But it's important that we understand more and more of this story as we get ready to make our appearance before Yahweh, our Elohim. As we know, we're going to celebrate our first day of Feast of Tabernacles tonight. And all males must make an appearance. As we always do, we will announce the approximate time once we end the sermon tonight. We will announce the time that we make our appearance so that all males everywhere who listen to us can make their appearance all at the same time so that we can do that as a family together. Govern yourselves accordingly because this is also a Sabbath. So we have back-to-back Sabbaths. We have a Sabbath, and then at sundown, it is going to begin another Sabbath. So that's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.